Greetings, world. My name is Eddie Lee Johnson, and I was born on January the 7th, 1961, in the city of Mobile, the state of Alabama. For those that's not familiar with Mobile, Alabama, Mobile, the city of Mobile, sits on the Gulf Coast. Today I want to discuss a new YouTube channel that I'm working on putting together. The channel will be anyone interested in finding the channel. It will be at eddiejohnson at eddiejohnson 7988. Okay, my reason for putting this channel for wanting to create this channel is I want to talk about how I was growing up in the city of Mobile during 1961 and I would say 1978. At the time of my birth, my biological father, my mother, and my oldest brother was residents of the Campground Community. Now, the Campground Community was a community like other communities that was outside the city of Mobile. Okay, to give you an idea on other communities that was close, like the campground to downtown Mobile, I would say the Orange Grove housing projects, I would say the CHINNEY-Vile Community. CHINNEY-Vile Community was off Joachim Street. Now I heard that they changed the name to some type of historical district. I didn't write down what the new name of the community that they changed CHINNEY-Vile to, right? But I heard it's some form of historical district. Okay, you got the Orange Grove housing projects, you got the CHINNEY-Vile Community, you got down the bay, you got Davis Avenue, and you got the bottom. Now, those communities was very, very close to downtown Mobile. And if I left out any other communities, I would like for either my listeners that's listening to this or anything that I might write in the future to forgive me for overlooking your neighborhood or community. I had a very interesting childhood. A lot of it came from choices and decisions I started to make as I got a certain age. Okay, the channel that I created, it's gonna consist of a lot of audio because I spent a little time and effort to fix it to where I could record at home, right? So I have recording software. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not no editor or anything of that nature, but I can record my voice and I know how to save it under export files. I converted one of my closet, matter of fact, it was my utility closet in the main bedroom into a studio booth, and I installated it real good with foam. Okay, one of the reasons why I wanted to have an in-house studio, I started going to a studio in Chinatown District, downtown Seattle, because I'm currently living in the Seattle, Washington area. And I think I started going to this studio in late 2014, like December of 2014. And while being at that studio recording poetry, I started to see more on Facebook that books are going from hardback to softback to audio, right? And I was like, it would be easier for me. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm a writer, and I love to write, right? It comes natural for me to write. I started writing, creative writing, trying to capture what was on my mind and what I felt in 1973. This was during the time my family and I moved into the Mobile, Alabama, Orange Grove Housing Projects community. Now, I'm going to talk about the Orange Grove Housing Projects community in a little bit more depth. But I would say, growing my first 8 years living in the Campground Community, my family moved out of the Campground Community in 1969. We moved out to Pritchard. My family lived in Pritchard from 1969 to the summer of 1973. Now, while living in Pritchard, I attended one elementary school in Pritchard, which had me going to school with people from Pritchard and people from Happy Hill housing projects, right? And then in 72 to 73 school term, I ended up going to school in Plateau, Alabama, aka Africatown now, as it's known as now. And I attended Whitley Elementary School for one school term, which was the 5th grade. During the summer of 73 is when my family moved into the Orange Grove Housing Projects community. Okay, to go back to the audios, while in the studio, I was recording poetry, I was doing chop-up sections where in my generation, we called it rapping. See, a lot of the younger generation don't understand that rap been around longer than they could imagine. Rap was around before I was born. It just wasn't no metaphors being used like they are today. It wasn't no drum machines and anything of that nature. You know, rap evolved to that. But at first, if you watch any of those 60s and 70s movies that they call black exploitation movies that basically got black actors or actress, you'll hear some of the brothers in there running the lines down, running game down, talking real smooth and direct to the women that they interacted with or with their woman, right? At that time, we considered that rapping. We consider that rapping because at that time, it wasn't no social media, it wasn't no pagers, it wasn't no cell phones. It was all landlines and pay phones, right? So when a brother had an opportunity to talk to a woman, especially a brother that had the words that's known as gift of gab, the brothers that was known for having the gift of gab, when they talked to women, they rapped to women, right? I knew about guys rapping to women as an early teenager. I would say 12 years old to 15. In that process, I got an opportunity to watch a lot of so-called black exploitation movies, and I watched a lot of slick talking brothers like Priest in Superfly, Goldie, in the Mac. I watch movies of that nature, and then I watch how smooth these brother dialogues was when they was talking to females. Matter of fact, that's the way they talked in general. And if they got upset with something a guy was said to them, or if they was trying to make a point, they raised their voice. Don't get me wrong, those guys could really come unglued. They could act a donkey, a lot of them, if they had to. But other than that, everything was smoothly said, okay? So I'm doing all this writing, and what encouraged my writing the most is things that happened to me in my life from the age of from the age of 15, which was 1976, until 1978, right? The lifestyle that I eventually started living got me caught up. I was into the street life. I'm gonna cover a lot of that in my audio, but I want my listeners and viewers to know I am a non-fictional writer, right? And what I mean about non-fictional, everything I wrote or write or have written is based on actual facts. It doesn't matter if I call any names or whatever. It's based on actual facts. The lifestyle I lived as a young teenager gave me more than enough of topics to talk about to where I ain't gotta tell no lie, right? Anybody that really know me from back in the days from 1967 to say 1982, know if I said I done it. I don't talk about things I haven't done. Not that I'm glorifying the things that I'm done, and I don't have anything against fictional material writers. I feel that it takes a very talented person to create something that's fictional that interests others, right? My mind, let me see the word I want to say it. I don't want to say capability because I'm capable of doing almost anything I want. Just put it like this. My mind, the way my mind thinking, the amount of personal experience I got with being into the world, especially being in the street life when I was in the street life, put me in a predicament where I don't have to write any fictional material, right? And I don't have anything against fictional material. I just don't write fictional material. I might not name the characters, but, you know, that's in play during the time I'm interacting and these chronicle events are happening. But the places at one time was there. It doesn't matter if you Google what I'm talking about that happened 50 years ago and you don't see it no more. It's like my eldest daughter was born in 79, and she was helping edit my autobiography. That's another thing. By the time 79 came, I had the written majority of my autobiography. I wrote my autobiography with the mind of if my children had children, because I knew I was going to have children. I already knew that because I love kids. So I knew I was going to have children. So I wanted my kids to know their family tree. I wanted their kids to know certain things about their aunts, their uncles, their cousins, their grandmothers, their great-grandmothers. I didn't want them to be told by others what certain relatives was like. I wanted them to get it from a reliable source So if I write my autobiography and I make sure all 4 of my children have it, when their kids get up to size and they asking questions about their grandfather or their great-grandfather or their grandmother or great-grandmother, their uncles, aunts, and so on and so forth, they got something that they could read, go back. It's like history. It's like turning on the TV and watching the History Channel. Now, in 2011 was my first time getting on social media. I got on Facebook. I had a friend, a coworker rather, set up my Facebook page for me. And until I learned how to monitor my Facebook page myself, he helped me monitor my page. He might have helped me, say, 8 months or so, right? So I finally got to the point to where I could post and look up stuff on Facebook. This is when I started seeing all these different Orange Grove housing projects, communities, group pages. And I'm like, wow, the Orange Grove got a whole lot of groups on Facebook group pages. So I started joining these Orange Grove Facebook pages because my family lived in Orange Grove, like I said, from 1973 to 1979. So I started joining these Orange Grove Facebook pages, and I'm looking at the pictures, I'm reading the stories, and I'm liking the stories, and I'm liking some of the pictures that I'm coming across. And that's when I realized, man, you need to get some pictures of the Orange Grove Housing Project community, because you don't really have any. You might have 2 or 3 pictures of the Orange Grove Housing Project community, but it was taken by you of some other people. You're not even in these pictures, right? And by this time, someone had told me that they was going to be demolishing the Orange Grove Housing Project community. Paul, I know they might have already started. I'm not sure when they started demolishing the Orange Grove Housing Projects community. But I know it was after I moved out to the Seattle, Washington, and I know it was in the 2000s, right? So I had I had a classmate that still lived in Mobile, Alabama, and he was a photographer. He was good at taking pictures. I told him, I asked him, would he go take pictures of the Orange Grove Housing Projects community for me? And he said he would. I think he told me that they starting to demolishing them already, Eddie. So maybe some of the areas you might want me to get in there, I might not can't drive my car. I might have to get out and walk. Some of it is fenced up with real big fences, so I might not be able to get those areas, but if I can, I will, right? So I offered to get a guy some money for gas and something for his time, and he told me don't worry about it. He didn't mind doing it. So the pictures that I end up with is pictures that I was mailed to me from a classmate from Mobile, Alabama that went to junior high school with me. And looking at the pictures, every last one of the pictures that he showed, that he sent me, shows where the Orange Grove the people living in Orange Grove already had been vacated. They had to start stripping them, right? The windows and stuff like that out of them, okay? So I have those pictures. Those pictures it's gonna be something that I'm gonna post on this newest Facebook page. Not Facebook page, but this newest YouTube page. Now, during the process of writing my autobiography, one of the main reasons why I haven't published it yet is that it was things that I said that was true, but over a period of times, those particular family members have died. The last thing I wanted to do is talk bad against the family, especially family members that's no longer with us, right? even though what I was saying was from my personal experience, from being around that particular family member, interacting with that particular family member, and the way that particular family member made me feel was legit, I still thought it would be disrespectful for me to get my autobiography published without taking out certain things that I said. And it was a lot of different things I said about different family members. So to keep from doing all this editing, I kept the autobiography, which was titled Product of the Game, Permanent Stain. To break down what product of the game, permanent stain mean, it means that I was a product of a street lifestyle. I was a product that had me performing criminal activities, right? Now, it's nothing that I done wrong I had to do. I got my first job working for the summer, and I got my first job during the summer of 1974. I was 13 years old. Before I got my first job, I was slinging the Black Beacon newspaper, which was a community newspaper that let people know what was going on in black communities, surrounding communities, right? And it was targeted more for elderly blacks that wasn't getting around like they used to. Maybe they never drove, or maybe they drove at one time and they don't drive no more. Whatever the case would be, they would get this black newspaper called the Beacon. And the Beacon would tell them what's going on in communities that they're not going into anymore for whatever reason. So I always had some form of hustle. In the process of that, I rolled dice and I played cards. So none of my biological father paid child support to my mother, for my brother and myself. So I had monies coming to me, right? And all the monies that didn't come to me, I went out and got them. Like I said, I sold the Beacon newspaper. I rolled dice and I played cards. I was doing this at 12 years old. So by the time I got in my late 14s, going into 15s, when I got involved into the criminal life activities, none of that had to be done, right? Getting involved in the activities that I got involved with actually went against everything my ancestors started with my mother, and so forth, believed in. I have no lie to say about my mom had 9 kids, including me. We was hungry. We didn't have a place to stay. I didn't have no clothes. It's so many things that people say today on why they sold drugs and why they got involved in breaking laws, that I listened to certain documentaries and interviews, and I hear people talking about why they broke laws, and the people that interviewing them, asking them questions, they actually got them captivated to the point where they believe that person actually had to do what they done. Now, I know times are different, but I don't think no times in the 90s and the 2000s going forward was worse than the 40s going into the 80s. That's just my opinion. Because, I say that because it wasn't no social media. It wasn't no way to network other than through the word of mouth. It wasn't no cell phones. It wasn't no pages. It was a lot of things that today's generation has that we didn't have back then, right? And it was a lot of work could be done other than breaking laws. So I make no excuse for the things that I done wrong that went totally against my upbringing. The only thing I will say is I started doing those things, and I enjoyed doing those things, and I done those things. I done those things, and those things land me in the juvenile center, from the juvenile center to the Mobile County Jail, from the Mobile County Jail to the penitentiary, right? And believe it or not, people think, oh, they trialing young folks for certain crimes at 16 years old. Man, that's kind of cruel. Okay, you saying that's cruel in 2000 plus. I'm telling you, they were doing that 2000 and under. Because at the time I got trial as an adult, it was in February of 1977. And I was on juvenile probation at the time I got arrested for the last time. And I had a criminal, what they call rap sheet, right? I had showed by the times I got arrested that I was heading on a certain path, which is a path of destruction. So I didn't cry. I cried about the people that I hurt doing the things that I did. The situation that got me incarcerated wasn't of my own doing. I would have rather been incarcerated for things I actually did, right? But being guilty by association hit me hard, right? Because I've done enough wrong things to get the book thrown at me, right? To get locked up and the key get lost. So to do time for something that wasn't under my doing and out of my control, it hurted me. It hurted me dearly. But life goes on. I did my time, I got out. I think about it because I still wrestle with demons. The demons of me still getting excited to want to do something wrong. But see, I made God a promise when I got released. I didn't ask him for no money. I ain't asking for no wife. I ain't asking for nothing materialistic. I asked God, as long as you give me my help and strength, I'll do what I have to do to make my money be honest. I won't take nothing else from nobody else. Just bless me with help and strength. And I know I might not have all the things I want to have, but I have what I need. I just want the opportunity to be able to supply my needs. And if I have children, supply my children's needs. It's what I ask God to allow me to be able to do. And God have done that for me. Okay, back to the Orange Grove. While I'm going through Facebook and I see all these Orange Grove groups, I'm reading and I'm looking at the pictures and I'm like, their side of the Orange Groves are entirely different than my intake. Their intake of how they interact in the Orange Grove, what the Orange Grove meant for them was different than mine. Now don't get me wrong. I had some good times in the Orange Grove. Matter of fact, the Orange Grove helped take me to a different level in life, because why living in the Orange Grove is when I got arrested. Living in the Orange Grove is when I got caught up involved in street life activities. I don't blame the Orange Grove for that, because I know a lot of guys that did not get involved in things I got involved in. Matter of fact, my mom had 9 children, including me, when she moved into the Orange Grove. I'm the only one who went astray. So I know it wasn't the Orange Grove, right? Sometimes your environment, things that's happening around your environment, and the people you choose to associate with could have a big bearing on how things go for you in your life. But I don't condemn the community by a long shot. I will say the Orange Grove for me is bittersweet, right? So I created the Orange Grove page. It had its 3rd year anniversary last year. So I would say 2021. Yeah, I would say 2021 is when I created the Orange Grove page. And I called it the Orange Grove Housing Projects Elite. All right, I got all this material that I wrote for my autobiography, and I was wondering what I wanted to do with it. Did I want to go through the headaches of editing everything that I need to take out to not disrespect my deceased relatives, right? And that's when audiobook came to my mind. When audiobook came to my mind, I said, man, it could be a lot easier for some people. Some people just want to ride in an airplane, ride in a car, ride in a bus, have their headset on and listen to stories being told, or listen to novels being read to them, right? Without them having to hold the book in their hand and focus their eyes on what they're reading. So I started doing audio book. Now at the time, I'm trying to figure out what I want to name this group, this YouTube channel that I'm creating. And since a lot of things that I want to talk about that made changes in my life and helped me become who I am today happened inside the Orange Grove, I was gonna give it an Orange Grove name, but I felt like maybe I'm gonna tie the two together, but I'm thinking maybe I should name it something else. Now, this is not final, but I was listening to one of my audios that was about 2 hours and a half that I recorded a few years ago. And the name of the audio book that I was working on is called Making the News, Feeling the Blues. Okay, in the introduction part of Making the News, Feeling the Blues, I wrote a poem called Making the News, Feeling the Blues, and it basically described what happened to me. How the lifestyle that I live, the things that I did, getting incarcerated and being let free. So I really think I'm gonna name it Making the News, Feeling the Blues, but it's all gonna tie into the Orange Grove because I'm a storyteller. See, I can't not, well I could, but I'd rather not go from saying I was born in Mobile, Alabama, and talk about that a little bit and go straight to the Orange Grove. I was born in 61. My family didn't move into the Orange Grove till 1973. So that's like, if I had to guess, I'm just guessing, I would say that's 8 years. What did you do from 61 to 73? No, not, that's more than 8 years. 61, 73, that's 12 years. What did you do in those 12 years before your family moved into the Orange Grove Housing Project community? That's the question I asked myself, and that's why I say I'm gonna start off this channel with my audio book, or the audio that I post. It's gonna start off in 1967 when I first entered elementary school. It's gonna take me from my family from the city of Mobile to the city of Pritchard, from the city of Pritchard into the Orange Grove Housing Projects community, which happened in 1973, the summer of 1973. By the time I get to the Orange Grove Housing Projects community, I'm gonna be built the story up and just the activities alone while I was in the Orange Grove Housing Projects, just from 73 to 76 before I got incarcerated. Just that 3-year period in time is gonna have the viewers, the listeners stumped. It's gonna be hard to believe that a person can get in that much trouble in 3 years, especially at my age. You know, so bear with me. I got this thing working in process, and I'm gonna take this video footage and post it on my Orange Grove page. And once I get it up and running like I want, then I'm gonna post it on other Orange Grove group pages that I'm on. And I want to bring them to my YouTube channel and have them experience Orange Grove Housing Projects Community and my other steps leading to the Orange Grove Housing Project Community and after moving out of the Orange Grove Housing Project Community, which was in '79. I want them to be able to follow me, right? I'm going to let them follow me in a different way. I'm not talking about follow me on TikTok, follow me on Instagram. I'm not talking about following me on Facebook or no other social media ways of following somebody other than following me on YouTube. And you're going to get some very interesting stories. You're going to have the opportunity to listen to some poetry, and I'm going to post some pictures. And just bear in mind, everything I write is non-fictional. From the time I recite a poem, and you read it, the poem, or you listen to it, you could bet money that what that poem is saying, the meaning behind that, is what I put in there. It's because I lived it. Now, I'm going to end this by saying, again, my new YouTube channel that I'm working on is at eddiejohnson 7988 at eddie, which is Eddie, Johnson, which is my last name, Johnson, the channel number 7988. Thanks for y'all time, and be on the lookout, right? This is something new to me. I'm taking what I wrote that was going to be meant for a book, from a book to an audio book, to posting it on my YouTube channel. So this different, and I'm working on it, but I will get it together because I have a couple people helping me too. Just remember, I don't write non-fiction material. Peace and have a great day.